Good morning from the Homesteading GrandParents. Today is January the 22nd of 2021. This morning we're going to head out to one of our small garden areas, pick some greens. We'll show you what we do around here, how that we wash them, clean them, and get them ready for the pot. We'll spice them up. We like them spicy, and we'll use serrano peppers from our garden that we grew back during the summer last year and even into the winter this year. But before we head out, if you like this video, we'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel. That would help us out a great deal. So let's get started. Let's head out there and see what we have. Well, here we are out in one of our raised beds. We have this bed here which we have mustard greens in right now. Bullet, I'm trying to talk. We have the mustard greens here, and then we've got another section over there that we've already got cleaned out. Getting ready for the spring planting. But what we're going to do this morning is we're going to pick some of these greens, and you see that they're pretty. Some of the leaves are pretty big. A lot of people don't like them this big. They like them smaller. But we're going to show you what we do to take some of the bite out of the bigger leaves. They're still usable. We use them all the time. In fact, the bigger the better for me. We take the leaf off of the stem, and that helps us kind of tone down some of that bite that they have. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go through here and pick some. You'll see some like this that are discolored. We're not going to use them. We'll discard them, feed them to the chickens, or put them in the compost pile. But we're just going to go through here and pick a good mess of them, and then we'll start washing them. I don't worry so much about the bug bites as long as there's no bugs on them, which we'll get those off when we put them in the water bath. But I don't worry about the little holes. Again, as long as they're not discolored, we use them. See this one here? We'll take it, just strip that off right there, and we'll still use the rest of this piece here. I don't know, this is probably our 5th or 6th time to pick through these greens. We'll leave the plant in the ground and just pick the leaves so that they continue to grow through the year. We've already canned some, put them up, we've frozen them. Quite a few greens this year. A lot of people don't like mustard greens. They prefer the collard greens because of the bite. But like I said, we prefer the mustard greens. But it's bad boy. Most people just throw that away, discard it. I say most people, a lot of people would, but we're going to use it. Okay, so we've got our greens picked. Pretty good mess of them here. And what we do is we take an ice chest. I think this is a 72 quart ice chest. And that's got about 3/4 full of water in it. And we just put salt in here. And the purpose of the salt is to kill any bugs that may be on there. Snails, we'll see snails. And we just put enough salt in there that it just makes us happy. You know, there's no science to that for me anyway. We just put enough in there to it's like, yeah, that ought to be good. And we'll take and stir that around, and then just take the greens, start putting them in there. You can see it's got some trash and stuff on it. We'll get all that washed off, and we'll put some in. Put them in enough there at a time, get them good and washed, and we'll let them set. We'll let them set for a little while, 15-20 minutes. Let them set in there so that the bugs will fall off. And once we've done that, then what we'll do is we'll just take them here at the top, and we'll strip the leaf off, separate that from the stem, and normally what we do is put it in a separate container. And from there we'll take it in the house and we'll do some additional rinsing on it. But like I said, there's folk that don't really care for the mustard greens. They prefer the collards, or turnips are a little bit stronger in some folks' taste. And we just focus on the mustards and strip them off like that. You can see that big stem. We take that right off. We don't use it. Now, if you like a stronger green, you know, put some of the stems in there. Occasionally, I'll put some of the smaller ones in there, but for the most part, we just use the bigger ones. and just strip it off like that. You can even take these bigger veins like that. We use them, but you can even strip it down further and get the bigger veins out if you wish. But that's what we do as far as cleaning them. Now we'll put them in here, and from there we'll take them in the house and we rinse them, wash them in some more salt water, additional 2 or 3 times to get the sand, the bugs, little like that was from the blooms on the greens in the back. Get all that stuff off and get them good and clean before we ever start cutting them up and getting them ready for the pot. Okay, so we got our greens triple rinsed. We've got them stripped off from the stems, we're destemmed, and now we are in probably the most sacred place of the homestead. That's Nan's kitchen.
You got it.
So with that being said, you know what that means. I better clean my mess up. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is look at our ingredients. So we got some old pig fat, just bacon grease, okay? And we've got some onion that we have chopped up and some bell pepper. Bell peppers from the garden, believe it or not, they're still producing. And then we've got a little bit of garlic, some chicken broth, and then we've got some turnips over here that we've chopped up. And we'll put some of them in there, the little chopper here. We'll put this, I'll put a link in the description box below what this guy is, but it's just a little chopper. It makes chopping up your onions, your turnips like that, makes it a whole lot easier. We just cut the turnips in slices, put them on here, and then just chop away. It works really, really well. Okay, so then we've got some serrano peppers, again, from the garden, and these are very spicy, which we like spicy greens, so this will be going in there. Got just a little bit of water in case we need it. We've got some homemade tasso. If you don't know what tasso is, it's highly seasoned pork meat. You season it up and then you smoke it, so we have some tasso. We have some deer sausage that our next door neighbor was so kind to give us. So we've got deer sausage to go in there. Worcestershire. Can't hardly get by without some Worcestershire for your greens. And then of course we have our greens. Now, Nan being raised as a swamp girl over in the swamps of Louisiana, you know you have to have the garlic, you know you have to have the onion, and you know you have to have the bell pepper. Okay, so we got those 3 things, we're ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll take us some bacon grease. Just whatever makes you happy. This is not a healthy meal by any means. We just make it like we like it. Okay, so I'll put a little bit of bacon grease in here, and we'll get it started melting down. While that's melting, we'll dump in our onions, our bell peppers, and that's 2 onions, by the way. Again, I can put the ingredients in the description box below what we did, but we don't, Nan or I, either one, we really don't follow a whole lot of recipes to the T. We just make it according to how we like the different flavors. So we'll go ahead and put in our garlic. And again, that was probably a tablespoon of garlic, something like that. We can put in our serranos. This is about a 1/2 cup of very, very spicy serranos. From the garden, we just chop them up in our food processor, and then we throw them in the freezer, and we take them out like this as we need them. Mix that around a little bit. Saute it down. You know, every good Cajun girl, she's gonna make you create some sort of a roux or a base, a stock for your cooking. So she's taught me well in making a roux or a base to start from. Okay, so we'll let that be cooking down. Bacon grease is just about melted now. I've got my heat on high and just letting it heat up real good. We'll go ahead and dump in our meat products, the tasso. I don't know how much tasso that was. it was 2 pieces, I can tell you that we cut up. So, I don't know, 4 ounces, something like that. This was 1 link, link and a half of good, lean deer sausage.
So there's something healthy about it.
And what's that, the greens?
Yeah, the sausage.
Oh, the sausage. Yeah, oh yeah. Alright. Yeah, see, this is the fun part. All that cleaning, all that work that you do. Rinsing them greens, triple rinsing them greens. De-stemming them. All that hard work pays off when you start smelling what we're smelling right up in here right now. Hard to beat. Smelling sauteed onion and some bacon grease. Alright, Worcestershire. Put it in there till you get happy. And for us, that's about like that. What was that? 1 tablespoon, tablespoon and a half. I don't know. Turnips, chopped up turnips real fine. Yeah, I believe that's going to get it. I'm going to say that was 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup. Now, some folk don't like turnips, and be quite honest with you, I'm not a big fan of turnips myself. However, chopping them up real fine, homegrown, they're tolerable for me. We fixed a pot of greens here, a week or 2 ago, and took them over to my mother. We made them just like this here. Took them over there to my mother, and she is not a turnip fan at all. And so took them over there, and she ate them, enjoyed them, and I talked to her, I think it's the following week, and telling her about the turnips. She said, well, I don't like turnips. I said, well, you ate some. And she said, I did. I said, you sure did. The turnips we brought over here, the greens we brought over here last week, had turnips in them. So that tells you that you can cook them down, can use them even in your cooking. Nan made a chicken stew here the other day and put some turnips in it. And they were really good. It was real good. We'll let it cook down for about 20 minutes or so. And then we'll come back and we'll add in our chicken bouillon cubes, and we'll start adding in the greens and letting that cook down. Okay, so you can see here what this has been going probably about 20 minutes, and you can see what the consistency looks like of the products in there. So we're going to go ahead and add the bouillon cubes. And you can see a little bit of moisture down in there, so we're not going to add any water right now. We're just going to start adding in these greens, because these greens have a lot of water in them. And you can see the size of that. That's what we chop ours up to. And we just put them on a cutting board with a knife, roll them up into a roll, and just start cutting. And we get them down pretty small. So we'll just take and stir them in like so. And you noticed I hadn't added any salt, just the Worcestershire, the chicken bouillon cubes. That generally is enough salt for us. We don't have to add any additional salt. So we've got this bowl of greens here that we'll add in. Whoops, good Lord, I hope Nan ain't seeing that. Be down there, I'll have to clean that thing out.
Actually, Nana's behind the camera.
Oh, good grief. Alright, so we're just adding in our greens, stirring them in, adding them in, and we'll get a bunch of them put in there. They'll start cooking down, and this total process from the cooking now, it'll take a couple hours for them to cook down. And we'll add them in here now, and then we'll put the lid on them for a few minutes and let these here that are here, they'll cook down. Alright, we'll put the lid on this, let them cook for a little bit, let them cook down, and we've got these to add, and then we still have all these to cut up. So we're going to have a pot full. We'll wind up with 3/4 of a pot. What we'll do is we'll eat on them for a little bit, and then we'll take and put them in bags, put them in the freezer, and pull them out whenever we want them. So the greens are finally ready. I've had to wait almost 2 hours for these. We've had them on low heat, just simmering, cooking down. And you can see, look at the consistency of them things. Man, and they have a great smell, a little smoke smell to them. I like to take and put just a little bit of pepper sauce on mine. This is pepper sauce here that we make on the homestead. It's got some of the Tabasco peppers, vinegar, salt, spices. Sure does make these taste good. Stir that around. Let me get them a bite. That is everything that I told you all it would be about. That is delicious. I hope this inspires you to get in the kitchen today, cook up something for the family if it's been a while, and enjoy food and enjoy living. Well, thank you all for watching. Appreciate your time. We'll be making more of these videos. Woodworking, gardening, beekeeping. That's what we do around the homestead. Would also like to share a little bit of our story about our life-changing event, adopting our grandchildren, and share a little bit of that journey with you as we get time. Well, you all have a great day. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time.